Charting your course through life can be daunting. How do you know you're making the right choices? What opportunities are for you? What if you've missed your moment, your season? Can I really start again? Isn't it too late? Never Too Late is the inspiring new work by Dr. D.T Chris-Kuye. Powerful and insightful, a handy companion to guide you. It's never too late to fulfill your aspiration. Living purposely is not always a natural thing, but when you are still alive, you stand a chance. Never Too Late by Dr. D.T Chris-Kuye is an inspiring story of how she started medical school at the age of 40 and qualified as a doctor at 45 years old. It is a guided journey of the trials and the triumphs of starting anything all over at any age. This comes with all the prompts you need to propel you into your new horizon. Discover your purpose and fulfill your aspirations. You can live again with Never Too Late by Dr. D.T Chris-Kuye. Available on Amazon.co.uk and Chronicles.org.
This is meant to be a very interactive session, so it's not just going to be me talking. It'll be a two-way conversation. But before I go on, I just want to say a very, very, very special thank you to our host, DSO Dupe Omotosho. She blooms herself. Thank you so much, Dupe. Dupe is one of the most sincere, most sweet-spirited individual I know. So when she approached me for this, program, I didn't even have to think twice about it, because I know that it's coming from a place of burden, a place of wanting to see people do well. So thank you so much, Dupe, for yielding to the call. Thank you for taking the bold step. I remember you sharing this with me and thinking, oh my God, how will I do this? But here we are today, maiden edition of She Blooms. And, it can only get bigger. The sky's your limit in Jesus' name. God will breathe on this for you and expand it beyond your imagination. Thank you so much for this, Dupe. And everyone, please celebrate Dupe for us. Thank you so much. I just want to give a very brief overview of how this is going to run. So like I said, it's meant to be very, very interactive. The first, maybe the next 25 to 30 minutes, I'll be sharing my story with you, because that's what Dupe wants me to do, to share my story. And I hope that in sharing my story, people will be inspired to do what they need to do. And then the last 25 minutes or so, we'll be asking questions. We want it to be as interactive as possible. And even whilst, through the course of me talking, you remember something that you want to ask, please write it down. Please put it in the chat. Our host is there. She's gathering all the information behind the scene, and then we can just bring it out and talk about it later. And so before I go on, just by show of hands or by just dropping stuff in the chat, can anyone tell me that if there is anything they've always wanted to do, but they feel it's too late for them? We have 1 minute. Just tell me, there's something I've always wanted to do, but I feel, I can see show of hands. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So we're in good company. There's so many of us. So I asked that question to let us know that we are not alone. Okay, there's so many things we always wanted to do, and you feel, oh my God, how do I do this? So we are not, somebody said play the piano. Absolutely, we are not alone, okay? So thank you very much. So this is how this is going to run. We're going to tell, the purpose of this is, our host has themed it Never Too Late. And I'm here to share my story. And so I'm going to tell you the what, the why, and the how. What I did, why I did what I did, and how I did it. And I'm going to say that because our goals, what we want to do may be different, but the template is the same. So I'm going to share my template with you. And by sharing my template, I hope, that you'll be able to apply it to what you want to do, and we can all thrive together. Okay, we are all going to bloom together. Fantastic. So I want you, please, if you have a pen with you or your phone, just type, there are 3 questions I need you to ask yourself after this meeting. Perhaps, ruminate on it, just ponder on it, reflect on it. The first question is, what are my core values? What matters to me? If somebody stops me today, if somebody stops my siblings, my friend, those very close to me today, and say, what is Temi's core values? Would they be able to answer? Or if somebody stops you today and say, what are your core values? Would you be able to answer those questions? That's the first one. And I would like you to answer this question in the order that I'm saying it, in your own time. The second question is, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? And the third question is, what are my dreams and aspirations? I'm going to repeat that very quickly. The first question is, what are my core values? The second is, what is my purpose in life? And the third is, what are my dreams and my aspirations? Okay, so let me introduce myself very quickly. I know we've done an electric introduction. So actually, I'll tell my story. I'm Daniela Temi Chris-Kuye. You hear people calling me Daniela. Some people will say Temi. Some people that have known me from the womb will say Tope. I am one of the same person. I answer to all names. And very recently, you will hear DTCK. Please feel free to address me by any of those names. I'm one of the same person and I answer to all of the names. So what is my story? What is my what? What have I done? So I started medical school at the age of 40. That's my story. Okay. And this was back in 2018, 2019. Fast forward to today, the 26th of January, 2025. I'm about to take my specialty exam to become specialized. So I'm about to become a specialist doctor. I'm writing my exams in the next 2 to 3 weeks to become a specialist. And so that's my story so far. Before I became a medical doctor, I had a first degree in finance and my second degree was in human resources. So I worked in finance for about 12 years, and then I worked in as an HR officer, human resources officer as well. So these were all good paying jobs. I'm sure if you meet finance officers today, it's not just anyhow job. It's a good job. Being an HR officer is a good job as well. So these were good jobs. I mean, I could afford to put good clothes on my back. I could afford to go on good holidays. I could afford to, have a good car. But with all those things, being in those jobs, there was something in me that kept saying there is more to life. There's much more than this. I didn't know what it was at the time, but there was just an emptiness that I felt within me. And I knew there was much more than this. So even though I wasn't too sure, like I said, I'm not sure if anyone can identify what I'm saying. You've got the good job, you've got the house, you can afford to pay the mortgage or even maybe paid off your mortgage, but there is something. There is much more. Thank you, Sarah. I hear you, sis. I hear you loud and clear. Thank you for identifying with this journey. Yes. So I knew there was something much more. However, I felt it was too late. I was in my mid-30s at the time. But I felt it would. Thank you, big sis, Caroline. Thank you. I hear you. Yes, thank you, Debs. And so don't get me wrong. Like I said, these were good paying jobs. People do thrive in those jobs. But for me, I just felt empty. I knew that my skills were better suited somewhere else. I just didn't know, where those skills, where that profession is. So the first thing I said to myself was, at this age, you've done finance, you've done human resources. Where do you want to go? Where do I start from? What else do I know to do again? What will people say? Which is one of the most things that kill our dreams. What will people say? And then I thought, oh my God, by this time, I think our marriage was I was married 9, 10 years. I'm thinking after 9, 10 years of marriage, what is left? Go and look after your children. I was just in a very confused place. What do I do with my life? I feel so unfulfilled because I just didn't know where I belonged, even though, like I said, money wasn't really a problem, but I just didn't know where I belonged. So I kept on going, and this is one of the reasons I share my story to say in my walk of life, my daily walk of life, I do meet people that say, look, I'm doing well in my job, but there is so much more. So back to my story. And again, for some people on this platform, it may be, oh my God, I'm almost 50. What am I going to do? I have children. What's going to happen? One of the other things that was worrying me was, oh my God, my finances. If I stop now, what will I do? My finances at the time was contributing to like a third of the household income. That means my husband is going to be left with the other 70%. And there was just a lot going through my mind. I was confused, but I kept on going. So back to my story, I decided to take action at the age of 37, going on 38. So I went back to college to do GCSE. So don't forget, I had already, after 2 degrees, I'd been out of education for 12 years. So I went back to do my GCSE at 37. There's a lot of gaps in the story due to the brevity of time, but there's a lot. If you please buy my book, it tells you all the story. So after everything that I did, I decided, okay, I need to go back to school. I want to get into medicine. How do I go about it? So at the age of 37, going on 38, I went back to college to sit my GCSE. And this was because, like I said, I'd been out of education for 12 years. The universities wanted me to bridge that gap, just close that gap. And, you know, with the long gap of being in formal education before I could come into to study medicine. So prior to my admission to medical school, I had a miscarriage. This was something my husband and I have been looking for like forever. And when it finally came, you missed it. So it was a bit of a mixed feeling. Here I am. I'm about to embark on my journey to become a medical doctor. I've just lost a baby that I've wished for all my life. And then I was left with a feeling of, where do I go? How do I start? What do I do? You know, here's one thing that is joyful, and the other thing is, you know, there's just one thing that's crushing you on the inside. So, and then going back to medical school meant that my husband become the sole breadwinner of the house. He has to cover the mortgage, the bills, and look after our aging parents. And the other thing is, my medical school, the one that I eventually got into, was very close to Manchester, which meant, and we live on the border of London and Essex, which meant I'll have to travel every Sunday night to Friday evening, all the way, almost about 6 hours journey, come back home for the weekend to cook, make sure the food is ready for the week. Because even though I wanted to study medicine, there were other things that were important in my life, my marriage, my faith. So I needed to be in church on Sunday. I needed to be at home to spend time with my husband. I needed to cook and make sure my house is tidy and nice. So there were still other things. So it wasn't just medicine. I'm still somebody. I still had other responsibilities in my life that I needed to do. So this were the challenges that I faced. And I share this to let you know that starting all over again, it's not going to be a walk in the park. No, it's not just going to be, well, I have the motivation. I'm just going to go for it. Motivation doesn't cut it. It's a lot deeper than that. There will be challenges, but what I would say is, to overcome those challenges, you need to have something I call a blind focus. A blind focus is you set your face on a flint. You have a goal, you have a challenge, and every other thing that happens in your periphery is just noise. My mother would say, don't look at the noise of the market. You have to be focused. So I share that story with you to let you know. So whatever you feel deep down within you that you need to do, I'm here to encourage you that it is not too late. Okay? Our goals may be different. Yours might not be you need to go back to change your career. Yours might not be, yours could just be, I need to lose weight. I need to have a healthier life. Like somebody said, I need to learn to play the piano. Perhaps that's connected to their destiny. Maybe they feel they need it. I have a friend who knows that she loves to sing, and she's gone back to the studio to sing. I'm not going to do that because I know that's not my purpose. So, like I said, our purposes are different, our goals may be different, but the template that I'm about to share hopefully will help you to achieve your goal. Okay, so everything that I've said lies in these three questions I asked you to write down earlier, which is, what are my core values? What is my purpose in life? And what are my dreams? It all started with feeling. So let me go back to why I did what I did. Why would you decide to go back and study medicine? You have 2 degrees. You have a good paying job. You have a house. You have a roof over your head. Why? So I've shared with you what I did. Remember, I said at the beginning that we're going to have three. It's going to be in 3 layers, which is, what did you do? I've told you what I did. I went back to school at the age of 40. Despite all the challenges that I faced, I went back to study medicine at the age of 40, writing GCSE at the age of 37, 38. So why did I do it? My answer to doing it lies in those 3 questions that I've just said to you. So I told you about feeling very unfulfilled, not understanding my purpose in life. I was just waking up every day to go to work, and it wasn't working for me. There must be more to life. We can't just do a 9 to 5 and not be impactful. Um, one of the things that breaks my heart, I recently, not in my journey, I've spoken to a 52-year-old who tells me, DT, I do not know my purpose. And very recently, I sat with a 90-year-old man on their dying bed, crying in my arms, telling me, is this all there is to life? At 90. Isn't that heartbreaking? How would you go through life for 90 years and not point to one thing to say, this is the impact I've made? You don't have to change the world, but in the little corner that you've been given, there must be something that you can contribute. And I've met 40-year-olds who have been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and they say, look, I've lived a purposeful life and I'm ready to go. So it's not a factor of age. It isn't a factor of age. So I just wanted to say that again, I'll be sharing a lot of personal stories because that's the way we can identify with these things. A stockbroker in his about, I think it was about 58, 59, earning about £1 million a year, excluding bonuses, and had a conversation. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to leave this job. I don't feel fulfilled in this job. I'm not happy, but I can't leave it because what will I tell my wife? How can I afford those holidays that I go for every day, every summer? So it's just to tell you that this thing is not a function of money. So you can have all the money, but it doesn't equate to being fulfilled. It doesn't equate to being to having purpose. All right. And I'll share another personal, this is on a personal experience. I had a lady who worked for us for about 10 years. She was a housekeeper. Some people that are close to me on the platform will know who I'm talking about. She worked for us for about 10 years. She was our housekeeper. She would clean the house. When we're not around, she had access to the house. She made our life easy. When I first interviewed her to get on the job, the way she negotiated her rates, she was a cleaner. She negotiated her rates. She knew what she wanted. When she came in to clean, you almost don't want to step on the floor that she's cleaned because she was that good at her job. When I refer that to other people, they tell me it would take almost a month to get her because she was in high demand. She was a cleaner. I've talked about a cleaner. I've talked about a stockbroker, earning different money, but yet happy with their purpose. One unhappy, the other one happy. So this lady, her impact on my life, on my marriage is just I couldn't measure it because I'm off to medical school on Friday, leave everything in the kitchen because I know that she will come in and sort my house out the following day without my husband having to like, oh, the house is in a mess. That's how much she made impact to me in a little corner that God gave her. She made so much impact that when she was almost going, I almost did not let her go. Like, do you want to renegotiate your rate? I'm happy to give you more, you know. So I'm just trying to let you know that it doesn't matter what you decide to do. If you decide to sell water, if you decide to sell sand, if you decide to make small, small puff puff and put in a sachet, it doesn't have to be anything big. It just has to be understand your purpose in the little corner that God has given you, make your impact. Okay. So before I delve into the questions, it's important I touch on something called identity crisis. So I shared with you earlier on about studying HR. I went into HR because I admired this HR manager that was in my office at the time. I wanted to be like her. She walked into the room and everybody just, my God, turned their heads. Her suits speaking in tongue, her shoes, they were just, I just wanted to be like her. So, of course, what did I do? I went on to get a degree in human resources. I blew £15,000 of my parents' money on a degree I had no business doing. This was back in 2003. Imagine if I'd invested 15,000 back in 2003. So it shows you, and I share that to let you know that most of the reason why sometimes we feel unfulfilled is we suffer with identity crisis because I for a fact knew that that was my problem. I didn't realize until the age of 35 that actually this not feeling a sense of purpose, not understanding who I am, was because I had a problem with identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. I didn't understand my own purpose in life. I didn't understand I couldn't appreciate the skills that I had at the time. And I'll just touch very briefly on the signs of identity crisis. It's not feeling a sense of purpose or understanding each other's values, feeling lost or aimless about life. It's increased feeling of insecurity, sometimes feeling of anxiety and depression. And the principal reason a lot of us struggle with identity crisis, including myself, like I said, up until the age of 35, is because we do not know our values. You know, we're quick to condemn other people when we feel, especially when we feel they've got stronger skills than us. We just feel, oh, she's showing off. Do you see what I mean? If we meet somebody and they have their own skills, I have my own skills. We are both confident. I'm comfortable in my skills. What I know, you don't know. What you know, I don't know. We appreciate each other. So I mean, that wasn't me. It took a lot of, working on myself to get there. So I remember back then I would wear my designer shoes, feeling good with myself, but then there was no substance on the inside. You couldn't engage me in a conversation and I come out with something meaningful because I just didn't understand who I was. Okay, and I mean no disrespect. I'm just bearing it all on here for us to go back and have a very deep reflection of where we are, what stage we are, and what improvement we need to make. I've shared my story, like because of all this identity crisis, I meet somebody who's got stronger skills than me, and I'm wobbly. You automatically just put up a front, like, oh yeah, who does she think she is? When I realize all those things about myself, and I'm like, Tell I can't believe you're actually like that. But that was then. When you know better, you do better, right? Even now, I'm not saying I wouldn't say that I know it all. Like, for instance, I know some people can cook a lot better than myself. If you come to my house today, I'm unlikely to cook for you because my husband and I have very wacky taste. I don't eat a lot of salt. I don't eat this. I don't eat rice. I don't eat this. So when I'm having visitors, I'll employ somebody else to cook the food for me. And when my visitors come, I'm more than happy to say, I didn't cook your food. That's not my forte. That's not my skills. And I'm not looking to improve my skills in that way because I've accepted my purpose and I know my place in life and I'll thrive in my place. The ones that I can't do, I'll gladly outsource and pay for it. I'll appreciate somebody else with that skills. Just the same way somebody else that has very good culinary skills meet me, they can't do what I can do. I've got my own skills and they need to respect my skills. So that's the way life is, right? Okay, so let's go on to how did I do what I do? So we've talked about those questions, those three questions that I ask you to write down. The way I can put them together is a car. Your values, your dream is the car. Your dream that you have is the car. The fuel that you need to drive this car is your purpose. And the type of car that you choose is your values. Like some people will not drive a blue car, some people will drive a black car. However, without a fuel, you can't drive the car. Without your purpose, you cannot drive your dream. Your purpose is the fuel that will drive your dream. Yeah, if there's no purpose driving your dream, you will run out of steam really quickly. I've seen people that say, "Oh, I need to go back to medicine. Maybe I need to so that I can make more, I can make a lot of money." If you go into medicine to make money, you will drop out because a lot of people know that doctors are not even paid well enough for what they do. It's purpose that drives what we do. Your purpose should drive your dream. So after being fulfilled with, after being after what I went through, like, okay, not being fulfilled, what did I do? One of the things I did was I sat down with myself one day and I said, Temi, or Daniela, whoever knows me as Daniela or Temi, if you die today, what have you lived for? So this was me talking to myself. I didn't need anyone to encourage me because no one could understand what I was going through. There's some questions in life nobody will be able to answer for us. Nobody. We have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves the truth. And that was one of the things I had to do. Like, tell me, if you die today, what have you lived for? Yes, you are married, but is that all there is to life? If we strip out the misses from your name, what is left of you? Those were the questions I asked myself. So today, Mrs. Temi Chris-Kuye, take out the misses from your name. Who are you? What have you done with yourself? Those were the questions I asked myself when I was having all this. So my thing is everything that you always wanted to do. That's the same question. Why? Why? And as a person who believes in God, and this is where the grace, I'm a person of faith, and this is where the grace of God abounds. God said to me to write down those questions that I gave you, those three questions. What is your core value, Timmy? Who are you as a person? All those designer clothes and everything. There's nothing wrong with the designer clothes. I still wear them, but now I wear them differently and I wear them with a swag, with a purposeful swag. So absolutely nothing wrong with wearing designer clothes. I'm just trying to tell you where I came from. That was me. Like you spend so much, for me, that was where my attention was like, oh, wear the designer clothes, wear these, wear that. And there was no substance. And I just felt, okay, after all of this, what is left of you? So that was the question I had to ask myself. So God said to write down those three questions. What are your core values? What is your passion in life? What are you passionate about? And what is your purpose in life? So, and I'm sharing this with you because you don't have to lock yourself up like I did. And this is where representation is important. If you're struggling with the same feeling that I struggled with, God has used me as the forerunner to then, bridge that gap for you. You don't have to lock yourself in a room. You already have the three questions, which is why I gave you those three questions at the start. You don't have to lock yourself in a room. You don't have to. I shut down social media. I think for about a year of my life, I attended no party because I wanted a change for my life. But you don't have to go through all of that, right? Because somebody else has gone through it for you. But what you then need to do is to answer those three questions. What are your core values? What is your purpose in life? What are your dreams and aspirations? And the reason I say that is your personality, your core values, it leads you to your purpose, and your purpose will drive your dream. So, which is why I said, please write down them in those order because it's difficult. I'll give you an example. From a very young age, people that know me that have been very passionate about health. I'm just about, I think for about 10, 15 years ago, I stopped eating sugar. If you came to my house at some point, I had no sugar at home. I stopped drinking things like Coca-Cola. I had to get sugar in my house because it became so embarrassing that when people come home, I give them a cup of tea and I go, no sugar. And I have like, tell me, look, you can't impose your lifestyle on everyone. So for that sake, for contingency plan, I had to, I had to put a bag of sugar at home. So I'm just trying to tell you my personality that informed my purpose. So my personality, I'm a very health conscious person. I have a very curious mind. I'm always wanting to know why. Why is this happening? Why do people have diseases? Why do people die? And that's my personality. That's the sort of brain that I have. I can tell you things that happened to me when I was 10 years old. I've got a very photographic memory. So all of those personalities combined together informed my purpose, which is, okay, this is who you are. This is your personality. I read books. So all of these personalities together, what can you do? And that's how I was able to narrow down that I wanted to become a doctor. Initially, I thought of, I wanted to become a project manager. I was this close to paying for a project management course. And I had to reverse, like, this is me going back to the HR without thinking of the purpose of the reason I wanted to do it. So I share that with you to let you know that if you're struggling with why you want to do or what you want to do, the first question is, who am I? If you're somebody that loves being out there, bubbly, party, perhaps you might be a good event planner. Perhaps you might want to go into emceeing, you know, if you're an extrovert. If you're an introvert, perhaps you might want to, I don't know, be an interior decorator, something that will make you think, walk by yourself without having to have much interaction with people. So that's why I asked those questions. Who are you? Because it's okay to want to have a dream, but you might end up getting to the end of that dream and you realize that I've been chasing rainbows. There's nothing here because there was no purpose to what you wanted to do. So, my sister that wanted to play piano, why do you want to play piano? Because if you decide to play piano, it's going to be another high. And then when you reach that high, there's nothing to sustain it. But your purpose sustain what you do, your purpose sustain your dream. When I'm sure maybe you've heard in the news, the NHS is at it's crumbling. Sometimes you get to work and you have like 20 ambulances packed outside, and you're thinking, how am I going to do this? But when I remember the reason I came to this in the first place, I don't think I've never had a spring in my step when I get home because I tell people that my purpose is on steroids because I'm not this is bigger than me. I didn't become a doctor by myself or for myself. Don't get me wrong, the remuneration is important. I still need money to pay my bills. I need money to do things. But I would gladly be a doctor and not get paid for it. Because this my husband goes, oh, when you get to work, I feel there's something you sniff because you're always just on a high. And that's why I said my purpose is on steroids. Because my purpose, because I understand who I am, I thrive in this. I enjoy this naturally. These are the innate things that I have. it's what I've been born with. I've just enhanced those skills. I've enhanced it by, okay, I have a love of healthy things. I have a love for reading. I've now enhanced it by taking myself to go to medical school, and I am a medical doctor. So I ask you, your core values will inform your purpose, and your purpose will drive whatever dreams, whatever goals. If you want to become a baker, if you want to become a dressmaker, if you want anything you want to do, make sure there's a purpose driving that dream. And that purpose, when you face those tough challenges, the purpose will be that fuel that keeps you going. Because it's all right to have a goal. I had a goal to become a human resources officer. I achieved the goal, all right. But what was the purpose driving it? By the time I achieved that goal, it was almost like I was on a high, it dropped. There was no purpose to drive it, which was why I was miserable every day, because I did it without understanding the reason why I wanted to do what I wanted to do in the first place. So if you ever have a dream, if you have an aspiration, it is never too late to do it. However, in not being too late, I don't want us to chase rainbows. Let us be sure. Let's go back to the drawing board. Why do I want to do what I want to do? Does this fit with my personality? If I'm chasing this dream, if I'm chasing this goal that I want to do, what is the purpose driving it? Because your purpose will give you wings. Your purpose will give you wings. Okay. So, moderator, let's see how far I don't know. So I think I've got about 10 more minutes so people can ask their questions. Am I okay,
Yeah,
Dippy?
I feel good.
Okay. So I think I've summarized everything that I want to. So I'm just going to recap just to be sure that I haven't missed anything out. So today I've shared with you what I did, why I did what I did, and how I did it. What did I do? I went back to school at the age of 40 to study medicine, despite the challenges that I faced, the miscarriages, the going away from home for so long, leaving my husband with the responsibility of, shouldering the bills alone. And this is the other thing I need to say. At the start of the conversation or of the meeting, our meeting together, I did say that it takes a village to raise a child. No one is born to be an island. We can't do it all alone. We can't. So there are people in our lives, there are those destiny helpers that will hold our hands and walk us through the journey. And I pray that we recognize those people, recognize them, and appreciate them. There's so many people that I can't actually start beginning to mention. When I wanted to study medicine, I had no idea. It was somebody that introduced me to somebody that said, "Oh, you need to have, you can go to this hospital and have an experience." So, like I said, all of this is in my book. I shared extensively. I'll appreciate if you can get my book, support your sister. I poured my heart into that book. So I think I've got a copy here. This is my author's copy. So it says not for resale, but this is what it looks like. And when Dupi shared about, about the scripture of at the taste of water that a tree blossoms, this is just describes it perfectly. This was me. This was how I started. That withered plant that you can see, battered and broken, not knowing what I was doing. And then at the taste of water, oh my God, just a taste of, oh God, I can do this without even being watered completely. I just knew all I needed was a word and this inspiration and the fact that I understood my purpose. And I started to run with it. And I feel this is where I am now. I'm not saying I'm there yet. Life is a journey. We're still going it every day. We keep building on those layers. But like I said, anything at all you want to do, it is not impossible. There will be challenges, there will be hurdles on our way, but with the right people on our side, with the right vision, with the right dreams, with the right purpose, we can achieve it. So we have got about 20 minutes. Should we start answering questions if anybody is able to, or feeling brave, or they want to type in? I'm very, very conscious of time. It's a Sunday evening. We promised an hour. We don't want to go over because we know that people need to get back to work, get ready for work tomorrow. So we want to finish on time. So yes, please feel free to ask your questions. Oh, I can go on.
Yeah, I think, can you just shed more light about around your journey? I mean, going back to medical school
Yeah.
is no joke at all. I know how competitive it is, even as an 18-year-old, 17-year-old to even get into medical school. How much more a 30, almost 40-year-old? So can you just I want to hear that story. I'm sure a lot of people want to. So going back, getting the GCSE forms, just that. I feel you should still um, shed more, say more about that basically. And so we've got to 8:30 or 8:15, so that's fine.
Okay.
And in the meantime, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat or put up your hands. I would unmute you to ask your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So it's not clear cut as I said it. I know I said I locked up myself up in a room and and then God said, write these 3 questions down. It didn't happen in one day. It didn't happen in 1 month. It probably took about 6 months. It was a process. It wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon for me. So when I realized, after all this period, I realized, okay, I do need to go into healthcare because I'm passionate about healthcare. I struggled a lot with it. I was 37 at the time, or 36 or so at the time. And I said to myself, what business? It would take 10 years for me to qualify. And that means by the time I'm qualifying, I'm 47, 48, which is I'm almost there now. This was the yesterday I was talking about, and today I'm literally about 2 years or so away from becoming a specialist. But I struggled with it. I struggled with it a lot and I didn't want to go. So then I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach a compromise. Rather than go into medicine, I'll become a dentist. It takes 5 years to do dentistry. You qualify and I'll start making my money. I'm a business person through and through. I love making money. I make money on the side. So I said, look, I can't be stuck in a job where I am just not going to do anything. So for 9, and then I didn't want to make the mistake that I made with HR. I wanted to be sure that this is what I need to do. So for 9 months, I would travel to a place called Dr. Shaye Arika, I think it's Braintree, introduced me to somebody. One of my big sisters in church introduced me to somebody that owns a dental surgery. And she was in Braintree. Braintree is almost an hour or so on the train for me. So on top of my 40 hours a week job, I condensed my hours at work to work 4 days. So that means I was working about 10 to 12 hours a day. So I could have a day off to go and do a work experience in a dental surgery to be sure that this was what I wanted to do. So for 9 months, every Thursday, I traveled to Braintree from my workplace, paid my way through, got to the dental surgery to shadow, to have a work experience. It was on the 9th month that I said, enough is enough. I do not enjoy this. I'm not going to try. I'm making the mistake all over again. So I say that to tell you that it's not going to be a 1 week process. It's a journey. So at the end of the 9th month, I said, look, enough of this. I don't even want any dentistry. I don't want any medicine again. Okay, I'm just going to go into project management. I'm going to get I think it's a contract work, they call it. I'm going to get a contract work, start my business on the side, and earn some money on the side. That was how I concluded the whole journey because it was just too cumbersome for me. GCSE, you have to go to. It was just too cumbersome, and I couldn't I couldn't put my head around it. But then, and this is where I said the grace of God abounds, right? I just had no peace about my decision. I was the most restless person. And because I'm a person of faith, I know when God is dealing with me. So I knew that, Temi, you're about to make the mistake of your life and you're almost hitting 40. If you miss it this time, you're going to miss it for life. So I had to go back to the drawing board and like, okay, where are we? Anyways, fast forward, I then settled in my head like, okay, God, I'll submit to you. I'll go for this medicine. When I decided to go for medicine, if you're going to medicine, you do not just go, you need to prove that you have an experience. So again, 6 months of my life, I had a GP surgery. After my work every day, I'll go to the GP surgery next to my workplace to get a work experience. So I could put that on my application to medical school. I then started working as a HCA, healthcare assistant, which my husband hated, because I'll come home and I'll tell him the story of, oh, I cleaned the poo, I changed somebody's nappies, and he was just, so those are the things that I went through just so I could put on my application form that I had an experience in medical field and I needed to get into medicine. And like you rightly said, DP, it was a struggle. The first year for me, because almost 90% of the people that I was dealing with, I could be their mother. Some of my lecturers, only about 10% of my lecturers were older than me. And maybe another 10% were my age mates. The rest were younger than me. But guess what? These people had something that I needed. So I had to humble myself and learn from them. So in our starting all over again, the chances are you're going to meet people that are younger than you. We just have to respect the fact that we don't have to be subservient. We don't have to disrespect ourselves, but we have to respect the fact that they know more than what we do, and we need to respect the knowledge that they've acquired. Even now at work, I'm older than some of my consultants, but do I listen to them and respect them? Yes, because they've earned their stripes. They are where I want to be. I haven't been where they've been yet. I haven't acquired the knowledge they acquired, so I have to respect the knowledge that they carry. I have to respect the fact that they know me. So it's not an easy journey. Even after you achieve the dream, there's still obstacles that you're going to face. Okay, I have people at work, my registrars will tell me, go and do this. Daniela, can you do this, please? I respect them with humility. And that's where God breaks you. You know how we are in Nigeria, I'm older than you. God will break you and mold you into shape. Because it's so, for me, it's not just acquiring the knowledge. It's not just being a medical doctor. I feel God has knocked, and it's still knocking me. It's knocking me into shape. It would, those things that you feel that you can't handle, it would shape you. And I said, purpose is not just you. In purpose, you feel that you're doing one thing. You'd be surprised how God molds your behavior, how your perspective about life changes. Are some things you feel that, why was I holding on to that so much? It changes you 360 degrees. When you see people in their purpose, you can tell that, oh, this person they're comfortable in their skin. You're not threatened by every other person because you're doing you, I'm doing me, and we're all doing each other. And that's why you have somebody younger than you that talks to your work, and you're not feeling disrespected because they're just doing their job. So you do yours. This is what I mean. So it's a very beautiful thing, purpose, when you find it. But I don't want us to derail from the theme of this program, which is it's never too late. It is never too late to discover purpose. You may be in your 50s, you may be in your 60s, you may be in, well, I don't know if there's anyone in their 70s here, but if you are, thank you so much for gracing our platform. Whatever it is you want to do, it is never too late. However, what you want to do, my key message tonight is there has to be a driving force behind that dream. We just don't want to dream for dreaming. I said to people, dare to dream. But in our dreaming, let us be very cautious that we are doing purpose. We need to understand our why. Thank you very much. What is your why for doing why you're doing? Why do you want to lose that weight? I mean, this is something very common to all of us. If I want to lose weight just because I want to wear that next dress, or I want to get the compliment, after a while, the novelty will wear away. The compliment will wear off. And, that's the high. And then we come down again, and then we start feeling sad. But if I want to lose weight to feel good about myself, I want to lose weight to live a healthy life, it carries on. You can maintain the momentum because you understand your why. My why is to live healthy. My why is to be happy in myself. I'm not seeking compliments. The compliments are good. They make us feel good. But whatever it is that we feel we need to do, please then let us understand why we need to do it. and our why, which our why is our purpose. And that will drive, that is the fuel that we need to keep on keeping on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Tammy. I call you Topper. Or what do I call you Topper? Yes.
Like I said, those that have known me from the womb call me
From
Topper.
Unilab. Okay. So we've got some questions here, but if there's anyone who wants to ask a question, please put a hand up and I'll unmute you. But whilst we wait, I'll just read. We've got like 3, so I think we can do questions in 10 minutes. But whilst we're also taking the questions, I'd like everyone to please drop in what resonates most with them or what they're taking away from this session. Thank you again, Dr. Topper, Tammy.
That's fine.
God bless you. Okay, so I've got the first question here is, okay, I have passions, but I don't feel like my passion is my purpose. So are you able to? So she has passions, but she doesn't feel like her passion is her purpose. So how can she know or find
if this is purpose?
Yes.
Okay. I'll use myself as a personal example. Like, as I said, I am passionate about so many things. I'm passionate about interior decorating. I'm passionate about what else am I passionate about? I love driving. I would say I like them, but this is my passion. Okay. So, but it goes back to those 3 questions, which was why I started with those 3 questions at the beginning. Let's assume your passion is, I don't know, what could we say? My passion is talking to people. Okay. No, talking to people is a bit vague, isn't it? What do people have passion for? Please give me an example, DP. I'm trying to remember somebody passionate about singing. Okay, let's use singing as an example. So let's use those 3 questions. Let's answer those. So the 3 questions is, what are your core values? Okay, somebody said cooking. Thank you, my friend BC. You're passionate about cooking. Fine, let's use cooking as an example. You're passionate about cooking, nothing wrong with that. So the next question is, how is it your value? If today somebody comes to your house or your friends that know you, like, oh, if you go to so and so person's house, you're going to get food there because they're passionate about cooking. What is driving that cooking? Are you cooking to get the compliments? Are you cooking because you like seeing people fed and being satisfied? Are you cooking because you really want to give people nutritious, healthy food? Are you cooking because you want to save people money? Are you cooking because you don't want people to eat so many junk food? You want them to eat like nutritious, homemade food? Why are you passionate about cooking? So like I said, these are the questions that nobody can answer for you. They are the questions that you sit down like this. Sorry, let me bring my Nigerian thing into here. You sit down, you face the mirror, and you say, why? Like I said, remember, it wasn't a 1 minute journey. It wasn't a 1 month. I had to really dig deep because a lot of us have been brought up not to, I'm sorry, maybe that's a bit generalistic. I wasn't really brought up to reflect. So reflection was something I started doing when I got a lot older. And it was a bit difficult because I only just started practicing the act of reflection in my 30s. And it's difficult because I've been trained with my head going back and forth from when I was young to the age of 30. So now I'm learning to calm my brain down. I'm learning to calm my mind down. I'm learning to dig deep inside myself and bringing out those things that I didn't know exist. It's a difficult thing to do, but it is achievable. So you have to sit and ask yourself, why are you passionate about cooking? Is it because you want to save people money? If it's because you save people money, then that is a purpose, isn't it? If it's because you want to make sure people have very nourished, they eat very well-balanced diet, That is a purpose, isn't it? If you feel that people, you don't want people to, people are always busy at work and they spend their money buying junk food, but you want to make sure you close that gap in the market, that is a purpose. So that's the way you can, separate your passion from, or how your passion can drive your purpose. If you're passionate about something, but you can't understand the reason why you're passionate about it, I feel you need to really go back, sit down, have a reflection, and understand the reason why you're passionate about it. I hope that answers the questions very well. Am I good?
Yeah, okay. There's a hand up. I'll just unmute you. So I'll just ask all to unmute. Can you try and unmute yourself? Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for meeting me. I want to say thank you. I know you as Daniela.
Thank you, Dr. Kuye.
I don't know where to start from, but I can affirm to the fact that all the things you said are just correct. I've worked with her, so I know exactly some of these things. I used to wonder how you were able to keep with the pace of work at this age. And I think that's where my question really borders on. Because I'm a doctor, I understand that medical work is quite demanding, and you were able to keep up in terms of the pace of work. I've had the personal experience working with you, so I know exactly how you work. You are so excellent with the work. So how do you keep up with this intense pressure, in the hospital? I running around, getting things done. When you come back, you say you have to travel for a long time. How do you keep up with this pressure, on you and then your health and all that? So how do you manage all this stuff?
Thank you very much. That's an excellent question, Dr. Kuye. Thank you so much. So, thank you. I've happened to work. Dr. Kuye actually was one of my registrars, so he's one of my bosses before he left my hospital. Okay, so how do I keep up? Let me run my day through you. That's why I said I say to people that my purpose is on steroids. I know that being a doctor, number one, being a doctor is bigger than me. It's not about me. And with that in mind, I go to work every day without fail, knowing that today I'm going to represent God. Sorry, I'm a Christian. If there's somebody of faith not on the system, on online, I'm a person of faith, and my faith is central to everything that I do. And I see medicine as a calling and an assignment. And every day, I'm in my study at the moment, what you can see behind me is, so I'm in like an office, at home, and in our study. So I want to share something with you. I don't know if you can see that. So on my wall at home, there's something that says, I am on an assignment and cannot afford any distraction. Can you see that? So that's my wall. That's just my side of the office at home. So I said that to let you know that every day I wake up and I say to myself, I don't leave my house without praying. I don't leave my house without hearing what God is setting for me for the day. I don't leave my house without saying, God, I am on an assignment and I can't afford any distraction. I don't leave my house without saying, I'm like a lion and I fear no assignment for today. I fear no one. Some people might say it's a bit far-fetched. Some people might say this is chanting. Some people might say that's a bit outrageous. It's worked for me for the last 10 years. And that's what I hold on to. And I feel that what my mouth says, my head is already connecting. So when I get to work, I don't see anything else. So if I'm at work, if you text me, I'm hardly, Dupe will testify to this. When we're trying to have this conversation, when I'm at work, like last week, I think I worked from 9 to 9. We could hardly have any conversation at work at all. I am at work. So 100% of my time at the time is at work. Okay. However, when I am at home, I am at home. So I compartmentalize my life. When I am at home, I don't look at the WhatsApp. So my life is compartmentalized. So I'm at work 100% I'm a very
So Sorry, I just muted all. I will unmute her now. Sorry, I'll unmute you now.
Myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, when I'm at work, I'm 100% at work. That helps me a lot to concentrate on the things I need to do my running around the work. I'm not looking at my phone every 10 seconds of the day. Sometimes some things were flashing and I know that, oh, this is urgent and I'll answer it. But when I'm at work, I hardly, of course, there's an exception to that rule. When it's my husband, I pick up the call. I needed to put that out there. If it's my husband texting and I'm calling, I know that my husband doesn't just call me unnecessarily at work. So it's important. If my husband is calling me at work, it's something important and I need to talk to him. So yeah, that's an exception to the rule. Okay. But other than that, when I'm at work, I am at work. When I am at home, I am at home. There's no way you can drag me to talk about work at home. I'm sorry. I'm at home. I'm enjoying my time. So when I have other duties. So just to say how I juggle those responsibilities, my church life, when I'm in church, I'm in church. I have responsibility to my local church. When I'm there, I am there. When I'm not there, I am not there. So that's the way I compartmentalize my life. I live my life in segments, and the ones that I'm holding at the moment, I'm fully present. So that helps me a lot. It helps me a lot not to, when things start blurring, I'm picking up my phone because I need to deal with this. I find that quite distracting. When I'm at home, I'm dealing with work. Of course, I study at home, like I've been studying for my exams, so that's quite different. But I'm not going to deal with work stuff at home. Like we have, I'm sure Dr. Kuye can attest to this. We have like 1,000,001 messages that come through our WhatsApp about different things happening. I don't see it. I don't need to see it. The hospital doesn't rest on my shoulders. There are other people that are there to look after the patients. So that's the way. I hope that answers the question quite correctly. That's how I'm able to juggle it. I do my confessions, I hold on to my word, and then I compartmentalize my life. And I do have time for myself. And at that time, my husband knows, like, okay, I'm not getting through to this girl. He just leaves me in my own space. So, and I feel that helps me a lot to balance because my passion in life is to see people live healthily, spirit, soul, and body. There's no point living a very healthy physical life, but your soul and your other part of your life is messed up. It's a holistic thing. And I try to practice that. Okay. So when I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, I'm at home. And when I need to be Temi for myself, me, myself alone, I do have time for myself as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a good time to celebrate Mr. Kuye. Chris-Kuye is on the call. Thank you for supporting Dr. Temi. God bless you. Okay, so I want us to wrap this up by 8:08 so we can do the takeouts and then close by 8:15. There's another question here and it says, I think it's 2 in 1, but I'll just read it. How do you encourage the young adults around us to find their purpose, recognizing that you encountered a range of difficulties during this specific period? How did you navigate and manage the reactions of those around you? What strategies or approaches did you employ to address their concerns or feelings? Or how did these interactions influence your experience? I don't know if you then.
A lot of questions, which I will break down. I think I got a few of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
just briefly, you can.
The young people, yeah? Is that right?
Young people, how did you navigate the reactions of people around you? Like, what would they say? Okay. And then I think you've spoken about your strategies and how you went about it. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Just in a nutshell. In a nutshell, young people around me, again, this is one of my passion. Like if I see people, I've had a few people that come around me, oh my God, medicine is difficult. And the first thing I say to them without blowing my horn, I was like, if I can do it at 40 years old, married, cooking every day, you can do it. So you have no excuse. So we build up a rapport from there. And they go, what? I was like, okay, so we're good. So you can do it.
And then I try to help them practically. It's not just about talking. So I direct them. I was like, okay, like very recently, I spoke to a young person who they had already done, I think, GCSE, and they were confused about what else to do. They weren't too sure if they were going to find, they needed to go to foundation school. So we sat down together, and I'm like, okay, this is what I did. I went to this, so there's something, one thing I didn't mention was I had to go to, I did a year before medical school to do something called access to medicine. So I said to them, this was the school I went to. This were the GCSEs they wanted. So I'm practical with them. I'll say, open your phone, go to this website. I remember somebody saying to me, oh, they wanted to go to one university and they went to show what the criteria were. And I'm like, there are 33 medical schools in the UK. Don't be stuck on one. So I gave them an assignment. I said, go home. We're going to meet up together on Tuesday. Write all the 33 UK medical schools and tell me what their eligibility criteria are. And eventually they found out that they could go to one of them. Luckily, thank God, they are on their way to, I think, Nottingham University. So that's the practical way I help. I try to be practical with the young ones rather than just talk to them. I try to like step-by-step guide, go to the UCAS website, go to this website. So that's the way I encourage young people. I'm quite very practical with them. So in terms of reaction about people when I'm going to medical school, like I said, my book would be a good one to get. I got all sorts. I remember somebody promising me they were going to help me with going back to school, and then the next thing they said, I think you should go and be looking after your husband. And what are you looking for? What are you looking for wanting to go to medical school? You know, like you have no business being a doctor at this age. I got that. I remember going to, and sometimes you feel, I love my people, I've been helped by my people, but I remember going to a dental surgery to ask for a work experience. And I met this Nigerian lady and I thought, oh my God, a sister, she's going to help me. And I said, oh, I'm here to get a work experience because I want to become a dentist. And she goes, dentist, better be real. A dentist or a dental hygiene. You know, and that deflated me. And I'm like, oh my God. I wrote about her in my book. And she had such a funny, horrible looking teeth. I'm sorry. And I said, the way I encourage myself with that experience is if you're the person your company is using to organize their dental surgery, you're wrong person. So, just encourage myself. So rejections will come. It's natural. We have to remember that not everyone shares our dream. Not everyone understands our dream. You have been given that dream. It's not them. So we shouldn't be angry if they don't buy into it. It's not their dream. It's your dream. So yes, I did get angry with a few people like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, God had to wake me out of my, like, I gave you the dream. I didn't give them the dream. So do not be angry because they don't understand the magnitude of what you're doing. So what I would say to people is, regardless of people's reaction, sometimes it can hurt, especially those that would believe, oh, this person should help me. But always remember that it's your dream. It's not their dream. So it's your responsibility to make that dream happen, not them. So rejections will come without a shadow of doubt from the least expected places, from the people that you don't expect it to. Please don't take it personally because it's not their dream, it's your dream. And it's your responsibility to make that dream happen.
Thank you. And so in 1 minute, I'll take the last question, please, just briefly. So the question is, how did you deal with imposter syndrome when you decided to pivot into an entirely different career and industry? Just in 1 minute, please.
Thank you so much. I dedicate a whole chapter of my book to imposter syndrome. That's a very, very important question. A whole book. So imposter syndrome that was a theme that ran through my medical school. You pass an exam, you're going, oh my God, did I really deserve it? It's going to happen. You're going into an uncharted territory. You're not sure if this is you. However, it goes down to, oh, I am this. I'll tell you how I dealt with it, just very quickly. On my graduation day, I remember, like I said, this was the last chapter of my book. On my graduation day, I saw my dress hanging. We're going to have a celebration. I saw my dress hanging on the wall. And whilst my the lady was curling my hair, and I'm like, Temi, have you really deserved this? Have you really done this? I was so scared because I thought, oh my God, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be responsible for very sick patients on the ward. Have I actually done? But I had to talk myself out of it. Like, you have done it. You have the skills. So imposter syndrome, I'm sorry, maybe nobody can actually do that for you. You have to look yourself in the mirror that you can do it. You will do it because you have the skills to do it. It's going to happen, but you have to wake up every day and say, I will do this. It's not chanting. It's not, what's the word? I can't remember the name that people give it now.
With affirmation.
Affirmation. Yeah, whatever anyone chooses to call it. You will do it. You can do it. People, I remind myself every day. I remember my younger sister would tell me, oh, sister, tell me. And I said, do people that do it, do they have two heads? As long as they don't have two heads, you have that one head that they have, you will do it and you can do it. So please, every day, look at yourself in the mirror because no one will do it for you. Do it afraid anyways. Do it with fear. Do it with nothing in your pocket. Do it anyhow. You will do it and you can.
Okay, thank you. So we're wrapping up now. Thank you, everyone, for thank you, Dr. Temi. Thank you, everyone, for staying. We will be rounding up now. So I'm just going to read out the key takeouts, and please drop in your own takeout from in the chat. So we're saying the topic for today, it's never too late. And that is the message I personally will want everyone on this platform to run with, even in 2025. I personally believe that 2025 is a landmark year. It's a different year, and I believe that whatever we set our minds to do, we can do it. Yes, you can. Even these tree blooms I'm doing, I told some people I'm doing it afraid, just do it. And just know that it's never too late to start all over again. But even though it's never too late to start all over again, there's something Dr. Temi said. There's no point starting all over again and you're starting on the wrong path again. So she says there's no point starting all over again and you're still chasing shadows. Even though you need to start all over again, you need to sit yourself down, whether it's going to take a year, 6 months, time to hibernate, shut off distractions. You need to know your why. What is your purpose? And for me, my purpose, what I see purpose is, what is that thing that you do that you feel so much joy? You're not being paid for it, but when you do it, you feel, happy, you feel fulfilled, and there are different ways you can achieve your purpose. It might be through something, but you're achieving your purpose. So please spend some time. We're still in January. It's not yet we're still in the first quarter. If you need to shut yourself in to know your why, so that when you breathe your last breath, you would know that you have lived a purposeful life. And another takeout is, in the bid of chasing or on the journey of fulfilling purpose, there would be distractions. The people who you would even expect to root for you and encourage you might be the ones that say, oh, at this age, you better go and sit down, So you have to have she's called it blinded focus. It's like you're not hearing anybody. Once you know this is what God wants, you are focused. You don't care what anybody says, and you would just focus and run with it. And lastly, she says it's not going to be easy. You might find your lecturer is the same age with maybe your last born, or you're starting a new job and your boss is like, you can even birth that boss. It doesn't matter. There's no pride in on this journey of achieving and fulfilling purpose. What matters is that this is where I need to go. It doesn't matter who's going to help me to achieve it. The main focus is, and the main objective is, I'm going to get there. Thank you very much. So just Tammy, Dr. Tammy, what do you want to leave us with? And then I pray that this word, as we started, we said all we need is just the scent of water, not even water touching that soil. The words that have come out today, I pray that they would be, they would propel us, to getting up, getting dressed, and achieving that which we need to achieve. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And so, Tammy, what are you going to leave us with before we wrap up? Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear. So I'll leave this with everybody. There is no human being on earth without a skill. There is no human being on earth without a purpose. You just need to take time to find out what that purpose is. There is no one. No, God doesn't create junk. No one was born not to achieve something. You may not be the president of the world, you may not, but in your little corner of the world, there must be something that you're able to do to make a change. So please take time out to find out what that thing is. And the rest will be history. God will back you in whatever. When you discover that purpose, then please run with it like your life depends on it. I say to myself, my purpose is on steroids because I started at the age of 45, at the age of 40, and I need to be realistic. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm running like I'm on an assignment. So when you discover that purpose, please run like you're on an assignment. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.